back to my channel. So if you don't know who I am, I'm not surprised because nobody does. So welcome to my channel. Please make sure that you subscribe so you won't miss any updates, blah blah blah. If you even care, no pressure. So as you can probably tell by the title, today I'm gonna tell you guys about being pregnant at 14. That's right, you heard it right. I did that. So anyways, I'm gonna tell you guys basically like how I found out, how I told the dad, you know, and just little details like that in between. So yeah, if you want to know my story about being pregnant at 14, please stay tuned and let's get into this thing. 3, 2, 1. So when I was about 11 maybe, me and my mom and my sister, we moved to Lancaster, Texas. If you guys don't know where that is, look it up. Obviously it's in Texas, but you know what I'm saying. So we moved to Lancaster and I went to school there, like I think it was like 7th grade, 8th grade, up on into high school, but I think it was like 7th grade. I was about to start 7th grade when we moved there. So anyways, we moved there. I made friends with this girl, and one day she was into it with this other girl, and they was like about to have a fight, blah blah blah. So that's actually a story for another day. It's actually really interesting. So if y'all want to know that, give this video a thumbs up and I will let y'all know that story for another day. But anyway, so me and this girl was like best friends, and she got into it with this other girl, and they were fighting, and we ended up having to leave the school, like the scene of the fight. We had to leave, and so we ran to like her grandma's house. It was right down the street, and this is where I met the father of my kids. So that's how this whole thing started. But as far as the actual pregnancy thing, the first thing that I noticed that was wrong or whatever was my skin. I noticed that my skin was breaking out, and I didn't have like super good skin anyways, but it was enough for me to be like, okay, what's going on? Like, my face is going crazy. But guys, this was my freshman year of high school also, so I didn't really know anything about sex, anything about, like, I hadn't even taken sex ed yet. Hadn't even taken it yet. Had no clue, like, wasn't worried about pregnancy, STDs, none of that. Didn't even know. I wasn't even, whatever. So, yeah, so me and, we'll call him Homeboy. Me and Homeboy met, and we hit it off like right away, you know what I'm saying? We got along really good, and I don't know, even when we were talking, it didn't cross my mind like we need to have sex, we're gonna have sex, or anything like that. Like, I wasn't even thinking about that, but he was. And not blaming him or nothing, but he was older than me, not by a whole lot, but he was older than me, and he had done stuff before, and you know, so he was like more comfortable with it than I was. I didn't have no idea. But so anyway, so yeah, I noticed my skin breaking out, and then I did start to notice that I was cramping a lot. And yeah, like I said, I was like 14. I didn't really know. I mean, I knew about my period, but it wasn't like I was like, okay, if it doesn't come by this time on this day, this month, you know what I mean? Like, it's a problem. So I just wasn't really in tune, I guess. But yeah, I did notice like cramps or whatever. So my mom, she worked at the hospital at the time. So without my knowledge, she ended up had made me a doctor's appointment. So she picked me up from school or whatever, like this was on a Friday, and she was like, you know, I made you an appointment, blah blah blah, because of my skin, you know, my stomach had been hurting. So I was like, okay, cool. we gonna get it taken care of. Like, never crossed my mind, like, you're pregnant. Never even was a thought in my head. So we went to the doctor. It was me and my sister and like one of my little cousins or something like that. And we went to the doctor, and I remember the nurse being like, okay, I need you to pee in this cup. And I just remember being like, you want me to pee in a cup for my skin? Like, but still, it wasn't like, oh my God, I must be pregnant, or oh, something's wrong. You know, it was like, okay, whatever, you're the doctor. Like, let me go pee in this cup real quick. So peed in the cup, blah, blah, blah. And literally it was probably like 10 minutes, but in my head, it was like forever before they came back. And I was like dozing off on the table for real. And I heard the door open, and it was the doctor. And y'all, he had like the accent of like Apu or Abu, however you say it, from The Simpsons. Like, thank you, come again. Like, he was talking like that. So I remember he came in the room and he asked me, had I ever had sex before? And I was like, no. He was like, are you sure? Are you absolutely positive? I was like, pretty sure. I would have been there, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he turned to my mom and she was like, or he said, he was like, she is definitely pregnant. What? Pause. Pregnant? Huh? But even then, it was like, okay, whatever that means. Like, okay, whatever. But, all right. But my mom, she was just like, Ariel. And then she like put her head down. But it wasn't like, wasn't no drama. It wasn't nothing crazy. So, yeah, that happened. But then when we got ready to leave, we got in the car and we were headed home, but it wasn't the way home. And I was like, where are we going? And my mom was like, we're going to his house. We're going to tell him. What you mean? Oh, okay. But yeah, she knew who he was. He was like my boyfriend at the time or whatever. So she knew who he was, and he lived literally right around the corner from where I lived, which is kind of how this happened in the first place. But so yeah, we drive over there, and at the time he lived with his grandma and his grandpa, but she wasn't his biological grandma. She was married to his grandpa. So we got there, my mom knocked on the door, knock, 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 ding dong, you know, and she answered the door and she was like, can I help you, blah blah blah. My mom told her, you know, we just left the doctor, she's pregnant, we need to talk to you guys. And she was like, she's pregnant? She was like, yeah, you know, we just left the doctor, I have the test right here, like, it's going down. We need to talk to you guys. Y'all, this lady said, she's pregnant. Okay, well, is it supposed to be his? Excuse me, bitch? Yeah, it's supposed to be his, or I wouldn't have drove. What? Like, I was like shocked, y'all. I don't know how some of these girls be getting down, but he was literally the first guy ever. Like, it shocked me. I was like, oh my God, yes, it's supposed to be his. Like, I'm 14. What are you talking about? But whatever, no shade towards homegirl, whatever. But yeah, she was like, well, I'm not his biological grandma. I don't have custody of him, blah, blah, blah. So y'all are gonna have to wait until his grandpa gets home. You know, you'll have to talk to his grandpa. So basically shut the door in our face and was like, can't help y'all, sorry. So yeah, so we headed to the house where, dun dun dun, my dad was waiting. Yeah. So we got to the house and my mom made me like go in their room and I sat on their bed and she just kept being like, tell them what they said, tell them what they said. And I was like, no thanks. But I don't know, it wasn't like, I knew she already knew, and I don't know why, but I had kind of figured like she had texted him on her way home and like told him. So I already thought that they knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't that I was scared to say anything. It was just like, I don't know, like looking back on it, I feel like I was thinking if I say it out loud, I'm really gonna be pregnant. Like, you already pregnant, bitch. But I did. I felt like if I say that, then it's true. So that was just my, you know, little 14-year-old logic. But I could not make myself say it, y'all. Like, I used to be a cheerleader, and when I was learning how to do my back handspring, I would tell myself in my head, like, okay, 1, 2, 3. And then I would get ready to jump, be like, oh, I can't do it. Like, that's how I felt. I sat there for like 10 minutes, y'all, and in my head I was like, okay, 1, 2, 3, say it. And I couldn't do it. So finally my mom was like, she's pregnant and whatever else she said. And I just remember my dad being like, something, get out of my face and blah blah blah. And I was like, I'm going to my room. So I went in my room, and then I think that night I like called and told my grandma, my grandpa, and stuff like that. So it wasn't necessarily a celebration, but it wasn't like doomsday or, you know, it wasn't like no huge drama. So let me take y'all, this is at the same time, but so when we left his grandpa's house, I had his phone number and stuff, but we were still kids. So it was like, once they found out, they had took his phone away and stuff. So I calling him all night, all weekend, you know, like no answer, no response. So I'm thinking like, oh my God, freak out, panic attack. He done skipped town. He done went back in with his mom or whatever the case might be. He don't want nothing to do with you or this baby. What you gonna do? So, like I said, this was when this was literally like the beginning of the school year, just turned into a freshman. We just started going to school together because I was in like 8th grade. He was older than me, not super older, but he was older than me, and he was already in high school. So this was the first year that we were like starting to go to school together. So we usually rode the bus together. We sat in the same seat every day at the back of the bus. We always sat together. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll get the answers that I need on the bus. So Monday rolls around. I'm at the bus stop, and I see the bus coming. Yeah. So I get on the bus, look all the way to the back where we usually sit, and I don't see anybody. So automatically I'm like, oh God. You know, same thing I was saying, like he done skip town. So, but I was like, okay, maybe he's just like leaned down in the seat or something. Like, you know, he getting some rest. Something. So I go back there and he wasn't there. But his best friend was there. And he would always sit right there with us too. He would sit on the other side of the aisle or whatever. So we ended up coming to the next bus stop, and he got on there. He had like missed his stop or whatever. Thank God. So he got on the bus and he came back there and he sat by me and he didn't say anything. And I was like, does he know? Or like, what is this about? So finally I was like, he was like, so what? And he was like, what? Cause you finna have my son? And I was like, well, I don't know who said it was a boy, which it was, but okay. So yeah, I was just like happy that he didn't, you know what I mean, like skip town, blah blah blah. And I mean, we were still young, and like my pregnancy was by no means the fairy tale pregnancy. We weren't even together. Like, he did end up moving and going to another school and stuff, but he was still there, you know, for me and the baby, and he was there when my baby was born and blah blah blah, and he's still in his life today. So it was cool on that tip, but it was just a crazy experience, you know. Like 14, I was 15 when he was born, and at the time it didn't seem like I was so young, you know, but like, now that I'm 25, looking back, and even nowadays, like, I'll see 13, 14-year-olds and I'm like, oh my God, I was so young, like, girl. But yeah, my baby just turned 10. I have another baby now. So we good. Yeah, everything turned out okay. But it wasn't easy, and that's a whole nother story, y'all. Like, being pregnant and the teachers' comments and the looks, and girls trying to fight me while I was pregnant, and just all kind of stuff. Like, that's a whole nother story time. So if y'all want to hear that, like this video, comment below and let me know that y'all want to hear about the actual experience of being pregnant, because like I said, I was still in school, guys, so there was a lot of, like, you know, comments and just a lot of situations. So if y'all want to know about that side of it, feel free to let me know. Once again, thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll leave all my social media, blah blah blah, in case you want to follow this pretty face. I love you guys. Thank you for watching again, and I will see you next time.